Ladies and gentlemen, you know who I am, you know what I do, you know who I do it for, and it's most certainly for you. Welcome to another edition of The Checkup, where I, your host, Dr. Rectangle, give you all of your gaming information, news, and opinions post-haste. And with that said, I am currently sitting in somebody's driveway in my car, so this is a little bit of a different thing that you're not accustomed to. An episode of The Checkup in my car, if you're wondering why I'm peeping my surroundings, because I'm sitting in some random person's driveway, and as a minority in the South, that is a 50-50 mix-up that you really don't want to deal with. Someone might point a firearm at me and say, get off my lawn, and I don't want to deal with these things. But I do these things for your entertainment, for you, so at least thank me for that, right? But regardless, enough about me and my shenanigans. Let's talk about what you really came here for, because there's an all-important looming question hanging in the backdrop known as, are video games and esports real sports? Are gamers athletes? And the answer to both of these questions, as sports and athleticism are currently defined, is no. Because you see, sports are defined as such: activities that can be competitive, team-based, or individual. Remember, if there's leeway there, you could be both. And above all else, the defining trait that separates it from gaming is simply this: it requires physical exertion. Normally, this means at the highest level, you're going to be studying nothing but Greek gods and hybrids that you don't even refer to as human. You refer to them as specimens. These are not your typical average Joes. There's a level of dexterity, there's a level of athleticism, strength, speed, agility that one must be able to have in order to compete at a high level. Whether it's tennis, baseball, soccer, boxing, weightlifting, all of these things require high levels of physical exertion. And unfortunately, the reason why gaming doesn't technically qualify is because anybody can do this. Most people can do it blind if they know the game well enough. I mean, you can perform combos if you just close your eyes. I mean, hell, you've seen me beat people with one button. That's not a sport. There's no real barrier to entry in terms of, well, in the NFL, you have to be at least this good to play, but anybody who's anybody can show up to a festival and play in a Smash tournament. You see what I'm saying? There's much different things and connotations here as well, with league tournaments, how anybody can just sign up and get involved, where it's not a matter of professionalism, it's just certain people are better at the activity than others. For example, we're not going to call battle rappers athletes, are they? I mean, they do compete, they do battle each other, they do it for other people's entertainment, which is another criteria that sports fall under. So we're not going to call battle rappers athletes because they could be out of shape. All they got to do is do hand movements, and every now and then hit you with the point like they're doing some R&B song rendition, and bada boom, bada bing, you got yourself a saucy battle rapper. And probably doesn't have the best name, probably doesn't have to be the most creative person, but at the end of the day, we're not going to call battle rapping a sport in which we call the players or the people at B athletes. That's just not something we're going to do. However, as we all know, certain players have been afforded P1 visas and have been allowed to be flown out from their country over here, bada boom, bada bing, allowed to play their game and do their thing. Put that on a t-shirt, it rhymes, it sounds beautiful. But at the end of the day, you can't pick and choose which esports get the love and which esports don't, because if you're setting this precedent, it's got to be universal. Because right now, as we all know, League players, Dota players, in the high-profile MOBA games, they can get their P1 visas. But a Smash player known as Leffen, he was not allowed to have this opportunity afforded to him, which sucks because Nintendo is one of the key, instrumental video game corporations out there with one of the most flagship series known as Super Smash Bros. And unfortunately, a game with that much notoriety and popularity, and one of their top players who's been rising up over the years. I mean, embarrassing fools out there in Fox mirrors. No, we don't talk about that. Those were dark times, kids. If you weren't there, don't worry about it. Even though it happened last year, and it's probably gonna be in the video description below because the shit was hilarious. But regardless, we're not here to chill. We're here to talk facts and opinions. So he was not allowed to have his visa afforded to him, and people have been asking why. People are signing petitions. There's people going to change.org. There's people making a huge uproar and ruckus about this information and this issue. And at the end of the day, while I don't think esports are sports in any way, shape, or form, I don't see gamers as athletes. At the end of the day, there are gamers who are already being afforded this opportunity, and for consistency's sake, you can't pick and choose what athletes you want or what you consider to be high profile. This isn't about, oh, well, no gamers have ever gotten it, so why should this gamer do it? This is about, well, those gamers over there got it, so why doesn't this one get it? And don't tell me because this game is different and not as popular, because that's garbage. That's a bunch of gobbledygook. Because as we all know, sure, the fighting game community or the Smash game community started from a very grassroots nature and didn't really have the backing of big companies when it started out. But as we've seen, it's grown exponentially from the poverty net of being in the corner of your local pizzeria to now being able to grow into selling out certain arenas and hotel venues and actually being able to be pushed in a way that's marketable, that makes money, that makes people captivated to sit down and have hundreds of thousands of people watching on Twitch or YouTube or whatever streaming service and platform they choose to use. So at the end of the day, well, as I said, I don't agree that they're considered athletes. You can't pick and choose which visa. I mean, come on, you're setting a precedent here. So, did I sign the petition? Yeah. But they're not sports. They've never been sports. There's not that level of physical exertion. There's not that level of, you got to keep your body right. I mean, you could be 400 pounds, but, if you know how to hit them keystrokes, bada boom, bada bing, you are a professional. You are at the top of your game. You are the pinnacle of what many gamers around the world would aspire to be who are fans of the same game that you are playing at such a high level. Now, that said, I need to get out of here before I get shot at, because that person looks like they're very pissed. They're peeking out the window now. And, yeah. Without further ado, I will be departing. So let me just pop this bad